Welcome back to WindowCast, the official podcast of Window Indoor Magazine and the National Glass Association. I'm Laurie Cowin, editor of Window Indoor Magazine. We're recording this episode at GlassBuild America 2024 in Dallas in a glass-enclosed podcast studio with glass provided by Oldcastle Building Envelope. Before we kick things off, I want to acknowledge our podcast studio sponsors, North American Specialty Laminators, Schott and Becca. I'm here today with Bob Keller, Senior Vice President of Research and Development for Miter Brands, so we can talk about how the company has combined Miter's advanced manufacturing capabilities with PGT innovation after Miter recently acquired PGT. Bob, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Laurie. We really appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. How's the show been going for you so far as you've explored it?
Yeah, the show's been great. I got here yesterday afternoon and got to explore around yesterday and this morning and got to see a lot of interesting things.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, there's been a lot happening within your company within the past couple of years, and I was just hoping that we could go through some of what's on the horizon, some of what's been happening, and what we can expect to see. But starting off with the recent acquisition, I mean, certainly when you combine two companies like Miter and PGT, there are so many best practices and so many exciting things happening within both companies. How do you go about identifying those best practices and taking advantage of them and really combining and merging it into this one larger entity?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a pretty daunting task. You know, you look back at Miter before the acquisition. They were a sizable company. PGT, a publicly traded company, at 1.5 billion. You combine them together, we have 28 locations and over 10,000 employees or team members there. And each one brought their own little way of doing things. And so it really just takes every department to really sit down and look at how things are done, what things are done well in different places, what are best practices, starting with complex things like, accounting systems and all of those things that are critical, all the IT infrastructure, trying to be able to get emails, address books and calendars to talk to one another. From an engineering perspective, we look at stuff like our engineering software and engineering packages are different. Stage gate processes and how we launch new products are different. Structure, getting through the HR systems and structure and how do we want to lead the teams? How do we want to communicate together? So it really just takes time to, intentionally ask the questions and dive into the various processes and understand, what is truly a best practice. And the key to that is going in with an open mind, not going in assuming your process is always better. And that's a challenging thing on both sides. If you're an acquiring company, oftentimes you think, hey, we acquired you, we're better. And so, they sometimes don't want to listen. On the acquisition side, it's almost the other side. It's like, well, they're not going to listen to me anyways because they bought us. They're going to want to do what they do. And I think it's really taking time to sit down as a group and really truly listen with the intent to understand, not with an agenda. And if you can do that, you can really get the best practice. And then once you get there, it's setting up project plans to move forward.
It takes a lot of very open and very honest communication.
Absolutely. I think, again, the biggest disservice you could do is walk into those meetings and those discussions with an agenda and not really seek to understand what's truly best for the company long term. And a key piece of that is that last statement, what's best for the company long term. Both companies now have to understand, this combined entity has a different future than what the previous entities had, and really taking time to understand how can we best work together to get to this new future that we want to get to. So it's understanding, hey, what's that future need to look like, and then what's the best way to get there?
Absolutely. Now, what are some of the potential expansion opportunities you see And I guess what I mean by that is I look at the two different companies and I think of PGT, it's based in Florida, huge on the impact market. But now with this expansion and this combination, you have this huge reach all the way out to Seattle with Milgard and the entire country in between.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a different kind of product that you offer, different markets you serve. And now there's this opportunity to really expand and think beyond what you were able to do before due to some geographic considerations.
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. One of the things that we're doing on the engineering side is just strictly looking at all the different products that we offer. All the different vinyl products, aluminum products, windows, doors, sliding doors, all this kind of stuff, and just trying to understand what are the strengths and weaknesses of each one of those different platforms. Anywhere from an engineering aspect to a cost aspect. Talking with customers to understand what do they enjoy about the various different product lines, so that we can understand, what products have maybe a bigger reach than what we originally thought. When we were talking a few weeks ago, I mentioned, in Florida, we have tremendous impact products. We have a tremendous reach in Florida. And what's amazing is there's almost like a barrier. Products don't really do well coming into Florida, and products that are built in Florida don't really do great going out of Florida. One of the areas that we've been really have been looking at PGT Innovations for a long time was Hawaii, and how can we get our impact product and technology into Hawaii, because they've got some new building codes there. And it's tough to get from Florida to Hawaii. But now we have manufacturing plants in California that can offer us a way to maybe get to that market much easier. And so it's really looking at the platform, seeing, hey, what are areas that we can, how can we use this platform maybe a little differently than what we originally envisioned, but it fits a need that a market has maybe a little differently than we planned. And then using that and expanding on that. So we've got a project that we're working on right now where we're taking 3 different vinyl series that we have, and we're building walls with the different windows in them, and we're going to bring sales and marketing and engineering together. And we're just going to go around and talk about each one of the platforms to really understand, what do people like about them, what do they not like about them, how could we use them differently, do we need all of them, all of those kind of things.
That sounds like it'll be an enlightening time.
Yeah, it's fun because oftentimes when I was at PGT Innovations for 8 years prior to the acquisition, and so I know those products very well. And getting to dive into new products is exciting, and also getting to kind of show off some of the things that you've built over a period of time is a fun thing. My background is in engineering, and so anytime engineers get to talk about projects and the things that they do and why things are the way they are, we always get excited about those kind of things.
I can see the excitement on your face right now, and how you light up when you talk about engineering and Windows.
Yeah, it's crazy to get excited about talking about Windows, but I've been in the fenestration industry for quite a while, and most of the people that end up in the fenestration industry, there is just a passion for what we do. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty neat to see people get very interested and very in depth into a product just as seemingly simple as a window.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, we're surrounded by almost 10,000 people here with that same passion.
Absolutely, it's amazing to see the attendance. It looks great. It's fun to walk around. I always kind of walk around, and one of the things when I go to these shows I really do is spend my time in the little small booths on the edges. And it's amazing the little things that are on those sides that give you an idea for a future innovation. One of the things we showed at the IBS show this past year was a magnetically levitated sliding glass door, where we take magnets and replace the rollers on a sliding glass door with magnets so it floats. And that idea came like 3 or 4 years ago from walking around the IBS show looking at hardware, and there was a company that was using magnets to levitate shower doors. And I called up one of the engineers, and I'm like, "Hey, how can we do this for sliding glass doors? We have doors that weigh 700 pounds. It would be great to figure out a way to eliminate weight." And so we showed a concept of that at the IBS show, and we should have some product actually in market at the beginning of this year, or beginning of next year.
That's exciting.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what a wonderful example.
Yeah, and to me that's the real neat things about the show. You come here and you'll see some of the things you expect to see, but it's the little surprises. You might get one or two in each show, but the little thing you can take back and say, "Hey, I saw this used here. How could we use it in our product, or how could we change it a little bit and use it in what we do?"
Absolutely. No. I'd like to talk about the iLabs that PGT has a bit. I understand that there is currently one, but with plans to establish a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about what the iLab is and what the expansion plans are to go from 1 to 3?
Yeah. So about 4 or 5 years ago at PGT Innovations, we developed this iLab concept, which was kind of a small factory that was set up for the engineers. And it's about a 25,000 square foot facility that we have, and we put very flexible equipment in it, and it was designed around bringing products to market as quickly as possible. So trying to utilize extrusion or raw materials we might have already had in the plant, and bringing concepts to market in a low cost, low tooling, quick fashion. And the idea behind that was having the engineers kind of intimately involved in the construction of them, so that they really understood how things are built and learn from that. And then also getting those into the field as quickly as possible, so that we can learn what customers liked about them, learn where there might be issues, or where we might have to improve the design, so that when we were ready or had decided that a product had reached a certain level to where it's going to stay around and we move it into normal production, it would be a process that is it's developed, it's ready for production. It's not dealing with a lot of learnings, because you've already done that in the iLab. So we initially launched at PGT with a pivot door, a bifold door, and a lift and slide. And those first 3 products, the pivot door and the bifold door, did very, very well. The lift and slide didn't do so well. It was a little complicated to install, and the installers really struggled with it. And so within 12 months, we killed it, because it didn't cost us anything to launch it, basically. And that was a perfect example of, we had 2 products that did well. We moved those into production. The 3rd product, we didn't do well, so we got rid of it. And we've replaced those. We now have the Invista seamless impact products, seamless glass walls. We have a impact garage door that we're building in the iLab right now. And we have some other things that we play around with. So one of the other things we use the iLab is in Venice as a way to say yes. So a lot of times when you deal with large homes, they might have that one opening that's a little bigger than your product, or a little bit of a different configuration. And we can use the iLab to build that product and say yes to that job without having to mess up standard production. So we've been doing that in Venice for about, like I said, 4 or 5 years. And we were planning to expand that into the West before the acquisition. And MITRE sees the value in that and is kind of supporting that moving forward. So we have a area of the plant that we have in Phoenix, where we build our Western window systems, and we're going to be launching a new product in there using the iLab concept in October, towards the end of the month. And it's going to be a new, I think it's the 8000 series, where it's a new thermally broken aluminum platform that gets some very exciting new value numbers for us, and is kind of a look into the future of what Western window systems could look like. But again, we get to market very quickly. We'll get it in people's homes. We can learn how well it performs and ensure that it performs the way we want it to perform. And if it does what we think it will do, we'll move that in production and come up with the next thing that we can launch there. We're also looking at a similar concept in Tacoma, Washington. And we've got a couple of ideas on some products out west that we're playing around with. So hopefully at the beginning of next year, we'll have a high lab concept ready to go in the Tacoma area.
Sure. It's always exciting to hear about new products in the industry, and I mean, I know our readers love hearing about it, so we'll look forward to updating what we're able as you release them and as new innovations continue to come out of the company.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's an exciting time, and it's always fun. Engineers always love to play around in a factory or in a plant, so it gives them a place to tinker.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. No. What are you most excited about with the company, or where do you see the most opportunity?
I think in the short term, the excitement's around how do we set our company up for what we're going to look like 5 years from now. I think there's a lot of work that's going to be done in the next since the acquisition 6 months ago for the next 12 months to really kind of set a new foundation for this joint entity that will carry us into the next 5 to 10 years. And so right now there's a kind of a flurry of work going on to kind of set that foundation, whether that's, again, all of those best practices sharing, looking at what are the products we're going to put in place and what products are going to expand beyond where they are used today. And just how can we go to market in a way jointly that will be able to reach customers in a way that we couldn't envision separately. So that's really interesting. And I think in that 5 years from now, some of the interesting things that we'll start to see in the market around how windows are built. All of the stuff going on with energy efficiency. We've been at PGT Innovations, we've been playing around with the Corning ATG thin glass and seeing how that technology can play in taking the weight out of laminate products or creating new energy efficient products that helps us meet some of the new energy requirements. Some of those things are really exciting to see how just the industry is going to have to really change over the next 5 years to really meet those type of requirements that we haven't had in the past.
I feel like we're about to hit an explosion in the industry with so many cool things happening with energy efficiency and performance and aesthetics and I mean really everything.
Absolutely. I mean, you see places where people are dabbling and working to innovate. It's just what's going to be the trigger to get it into the mainstream. What's going to be that new thought that takes the cost down to get it into a mainstream product, or what's going to get into an architect's mind that is going to be that new luxury product that's out there. There's a lot of things that are being dabbled with because of some of the new regulations, and that final solution I don't think we've found a home with yet. You think about all the triples and all the coatings on glass. You think about the VIG coming and all these kind of things. There's so many different solutions that are being presented today. It's going to be interesting to see what's the winner and how as an industry do we kind of build that new formula.
It really will be. Always moving forward.
Yeah, very much so.
All right. Well, Bob, thank you again so much for your time this afternoon. And thank you again for tuning into WindowCast. And thank you to our GlassBuild podcast studio sponsors, North American Specialty Laminators, Schott and Vecca. And thank you to Old Castle Building Envelope for providing the glass for our on-site podcast studio.
Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you, Bob.